we go. Sorry, it's been about a whole week and a day since I've streamed. I know last stream I did say that I was going to try and do these more often, but you know, work, clients, and things like that got in the way. Hopefully, one day I'll be able to do this sort of thing full time and move away from having to rely on like a single income source. But anyway, let's get into it. Today we're going to take a look at writing code for our little devices here. And we're going to start from scratch because this computer doesn't actually have any of the hardware on it. So we're going to go ahead and download that. We're going to set it up, see if I can remember how to do all this, and then we're just going to walk through it together. And we're going to try and get just maybe like a light or something flashing on here just for today. I probably got about 2 hours or so before I got to start work. So, and then part 3 we'll go into, like once we've got everything set up to work correctly, part 3 will be us writing code, like the Bluetooth stuff. We'll install some libraries on this device, and then our phone will be able to talk to it. So the next stream's going to be a bit weird, I think. I don't know if we'll get it all done in one. I'm going to try. Because we have to write code for both iOS and ESP32. But also, like what I'm showing you today, it can be used across like the ESP32, the Pi Pico, all that sort of stuff. Not so much the Raspberry Pi, because that's like a full-blown computer. We're talking microcontrollers today. So, and what is the purpose of this? Well, this is so that we can attach different sensors to these devices and we can measure their output from our phone. Right, so there's this big gap with iOS development, right? Like most of us are really focused on iOS, or we might branch out to like Mac OS, Apple TV, and things like that. But this whole series is all about sort of like expanding your skill set, right? And if you can do hardware stuff, and you're just starting your career in mobile development, you won't believe how many freelance jobs you can pick up when it comes to things like Arduinos and stuff, and the kind of work that people are looking for. So this will definitely give you a bit of a head start anyway, like as far as throughout your job search, right? You can say that I know how to work with embedded systems, and I know how to write apps. So gives you a big advantage against the competition if you can do this. And it's really easy to get started. It's not like I'd say iOS development and learning how to do that and get to the point where you can get a job is much more difficult and long term than something like this. Something like you could learn how to build write code to one of these in a couple of days if you already know how to write code. So hello. Yes, welcome. So here we go. I've got a browser open over here. I'm going to do my little Google search, and from what I remember, I need to get the Arduino IDE. Now, don't let that fool you. Even though we're not doing Arduino stuff today, the Arduino IDE has everything we need. And like I said, this Mac isn't set up to do this yet. My other one is. So we're going to set it up from scratch today so you can follow along and you know. But hang on, we go for... Let me just grab this. Let's see what we got here, right? So we've got, let me just make sure that you can see it. Yeah, everything's all good. Okay, it looks like this is the installation for Windows. So we need to go download the Arduino software. Come on, we need to go software. So they did have two. They had one that's like quite old now, this first version, and they got a new one which is like a reskin of, what's a reskin of? Something like Atom or VS Studio or something like that. So let's go for, there's also an online tool somewhere as well. Like I have some other hardware that you can like do drag and drop things to get stuff working. That might have been a good place for us to start actually. I don't even know what I'm doing right now, so let's have a look. We've got software. We've got a IDE one, but there is a Mac one somewhere, right? Let's take a look. Yeah, okay, so we got Mac OS and there's an Apple Silicon version right here. So let's grab that. Sorry, we just got to download. I haven't got time for that today. And we'll check this out. I am a little bit worried that we might be getting the brand new one, and it's a little bit... It feels like it's still very much in development. Goat. Oh, yes. So let's see how we go. I'll get this installed. Go this across here. Yeah, this looks like it might be the new one. Let's open this up. It's not showing up in Spotlight yet. Come on. Let's just run it directly. Sure, access documents folder. All right, so this is it. Now, to get code on one of these, you're gonna have to grab some libraries first because each device is a little bit different, right? So we've got, what was the hardest concept for you to learn as a programmer? Okay, so the most difficult thing for me in the very beginning was probably pointers. I couldn't wrap my head around, and then like the difference between reference types and value types. That was like huge. I just couldn't get it because it wasn't intuitive to me anyway. It took a really long time actually to get like I was like programming in jobs and stuff before I kind of really got through my head what that meant. But yeah, so these will have different so up here you can select a board, right? So I've got one that's plugged in. It should disappear if I unplug it. Let me unplug it and see what happens. So you see that? So the little pop-up, I can't make it larger, unfortunately. And I'll plug it in, and then it picks it up, unplug it, and it disappears. Yeah? Plug it back in. But it doesn't really know what board that is, right? We need to tell the software what boards we are developing for because they have different installation processes depending on the chip. And then to do that, I think what we need to do is add them through the settings to begin with. Yeah, so see here, I don't know, you probably can't see that. I really hope it's coming through okay. There's this bottom section here, which is like additional boards manager URLs. There's two areas where you set things up, right? So there's one where you need to add all the boards you want to develop for. So in this case, it might be the Pico Pi or it might be an ESP32 board. And there are different types of ESP32 boards. You may find that installing one profile will work across lots of them. It might not. But the best bet is to get the profiles made for that device. And those are pretty easy to get because the manufacturer will have them available. There's no point in a manufacturer putting out a development board and then not having supporting software for it. It just doesn't make sense. So it's always going to be available. Well, maybe not forever, but yeah. So we go settings, and then this is where you add it. You add it in the settings, which is also named preferences for some reason. And then we've got another section where we add libraries for the boards, right? So you get the basic, you got to teach the IDE how to do the installation. And then when you write the software, you can get libraries for the board as well. So like these will have, ESP32 in general has like a generic Bluetooth library, Wi-Fi library that you can install and use. And that will get copied across to the board when you do, when you publish your code to it, right? So what we're going to start with is we need to find our additional boards manager URLs, right? So this is like a link to a list of URLs. I know it doesn't really make much sense, but some manufacturers will have some manufacturers will have multiple like variations of the same board. So I'll show you what I'm talking about, right? Let me open this up. I'll grab So here's one. So I think this is the one we're using today. Yes, so I'll just unplug it. Sort of see there. Which looks similar to the one that's on the screen at the moment. And I think we had a brief look at this on the previous stream as well. And it gives you all the stats, all the specs, sorry, for this board. And we should be able to have, there should be like a section for software, but you can see over the left here, we've got like the Fire Beetle, all these different sort of boards. So we can click on one of these and we can sort of see what it's all about. So this is a different one again. It's still called the Fire Beetle. It's different. It's a different setup. Some have more inputs and outputs than others. And I guess that comes down to space on the boards. So if you want something that's really, really small, you're not going to get very many inputs or outputs. We've also got like other hardware on here. So this one here, it looks like it has earphones, microphones, that sort of setup. So this is kind of cool. So, and there's a little camera module, like where you can plug one in, which is awesome. And then there's like these different sensors and stuff. These should plug directly into these boards. So they've got like an ecosystem. DF Robot has an ecosystem with their Fire Beetle devices, right? And then another company will have a different sort of ecosystem for theirs. And you have to get the software for that board. So to find this, we need to get, let me have a look up. I'm looking up Arduino IDE Fire Beetle. And the awesome thing here is that a lot of these manufacturers, I don't know so much of the ones on, like if you wanted to go to AliExpress and purchase some of these boards real cheap, because you can pick them up for like $3 with every, like all put together. Some of them might not come with really great documentation, so you're always best to go with like a brand that has that. So installing the drivers, so they always have like, generally they have, the good ones will have a little tutorial for you, so you can set up and we can run through this. So we've got, you have to manually install the driver of Fire Beetle ESP32 to be recognized as a device on our computer. Cool. So this is probably more of a Windows thing, yeah. So we've got, you can find the link at the wiki. Nevertheless, the file is hosted here. Note that the file will not be automatically downloaded. You will end up on the page of the actual driver shown in figure 1. Okay. So I think if we keep going, I don't think we need this file. We need a URL, right? So we can fetch. Have a look. So at the moment, you can see that this little drop, like this example they've got here. I'm not in the way. Yeah. So you can see there's like this board Fire Beetle ESP32. If we go to, this is under tools. If we go tools on ours and we go board, we haven't got any in here, right? Like we've got, these ones come pre-built in because it's the Arduino IDE. They're going to give you access to all these Arduino boards, right? So you've got like, I don't know if you've heard of any of these, but there's like the LilyPad, the Arduino Uno Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi. So this has got, this is a board that has Wi-Fi on it, which is pretty cool. So we might use something like that. If we open up the boards manager, I think this might be another way we can install this. Hello. Hey, Omar. Welcome, welcome. So if we go for, let's have a look. Let's see if Fire Beetle's in here. ESP32. No, so I think this is all Arduino stuff. Mostly. Okay, so let's not worry about that. Let's go with, let's keep searching. I gotta find this URL. I thought we'd be there already, honestly. This shouldn't take that long. Come on. Let's open this back up again so we can see it. Okay, so we've got a little bit of documentation here. This is just how to set this up, which is exactly what I'm showing you already, right? So add a board with the boards manager. Yeah, so we got to do these packages, cause and containing packages, and can be installed using the board manager. So yeah, the reason why we haven't got it showing up in here is because I see this panel on the left, which I was trying to do a search through. We haven't got it in here because we haven't filled out our boards in here. Do you know what might actually work? I'll try and open it on this other computer, and I can grab the URL from there, but that doesn't help you in where to find it, which is kind of unfortunate. Come on. Just gotta wait for it to load. It can take a while to boot up. It's taking a very long time. Okay, not now. Don't download that. Okay, here we go. So if we go settings over here, I have a link. All right, so we can open up this, which gives us a much bigger text field to enter stuff in. And what I'm going to do is just going to copy this stuff across, and we'll go to this. We'll go to this link. These links. So I've got one for ESP32 index and ESP32 dev index, and we'll just grab one of these. It's JSON, right? So I'll go hit OK, so it's installed into the IDE, and I'll open this up in another tab, and I'll bring it across and show you. So this is basically what's in these sort of profiles, right? So you can have a look through here. Let me zoom in. And this tells the IDE what packages it should have available to it, right? And the URLs at where it could fetch these. So you got these zips, which has all the information for like installing the software onto these chips. And you can see here they've got these. We got these names, ESP32, and then there's like many of them in the same list, right? So this is for ESP32 Expressive Systems, and if we just scroll down, we can see all different types. There should be the Fire Beetle might be in here, maybe not. That's okay, we can keep going. We'll give it a go with what we've got. Let me just close this. And I'll close this one too. And this one. And this one. Excellent. Okay, so now we've got the board set up here. We should be able to see if there's more we can select in the board manager, right? So if we do a search. So we've got ESP32 here. So this wasn't here before, and now it's shown up. So we can do a little install on this. And you can see, like, it's got a list. I wish you could see it. I wish it was zoomed in a little bit further than what it is. Are you trying to code embedded systems with Swift? No. I'm gonna use. That is an interesting idea, though. Maybe for a future video, but no. What we're doing is we're gonna do the embedded systems with the regular code through Arduino IDE, and then next video we're gonna go through writing an app to talk to these things. Right. So we're gonna set up Bluetooth. We might even set up Wi-Fi, and then we're gonna get them to talk to each other. So that way you can go ahead and like build your own hardware, build your own apps for your own hardware. Which would be pretty cool. So I'm gonna hit install. We'll just wait for that. Oh, it's taking a little while. It's okay. Let's see if we can find. Still haven't got them in there yet. We'll wait for the full install to finish. Very interesting. Yeah. Hoping to, help people expand their skills a little bit so they're not just focused on iOS only, or Mac OS. You know how Apple is. They're very secretive. They could shut it all down in an instant if they wanted to. So it'd be nice to have some extra skills. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Talk amongst yourselves. I might flip myself over to the other side. Feel like that'll give us a bit more. Now I'm facing the wrong way. It's better. Still going. Oh, looks like we're just finished. There's an app called Blink. I use it in IoT course. The idea is very cool, actually. Yeah, is that one that it's got like the Bluetooth thing? It's like Bluetooth capable. I don't know if it's the one you're talking about, but there's a few I've used which let you communicate with like Internet of Things devices and stuff. Like you can also see Bluetooth connections and things like that. There was an app that I was using when I was doing board development last year. Because to do this, you need some extra tools to help debug, right? Like you want to make sure that this thing's actually broadcasting. And so like you get like a Bluetooth tool that can scan all the Bluetooth signals in the area and pick up on them and read the information coming through. Because there's different formats of Bluetooth, right? Like different things you can do with it. It's not just like a direct connection to two devices. You can have a Bluetooth device that just keeps sending out information, and then anything can listen to it. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be paired. Okay, so we got this set up. We go board. We have ESP32 now, so this is like a new item in our list. And I'm hoping the Fire Beetle's in here somewhere. Did I miss it? We might be able to get away with not having that. Like I said earlier, oh yeah, there it is, Fire Beetle ESP32. So we can just select this, I guess, and say that's the board we want to use. Right, so now it's picked up on what it is, right? So if I unplug, oh no, that's just the heading, my mistake. Yeah, so this one here, the 1410, we can select that. And the board, select other board and port, select both a board and a port if you want to upload a sketch. If you only select a board, you will be able to compile but not upload your sketch, right? So we've got the correct one. We've got USB here. This is selected. And we'll pick the Fire Beetle here, which is kind of like what we already did before in a way. I think it's just like a little wizard that pops up automatically. So what we can do now is run some code. What are we going to do? So let's just do some hello world stuff, right? Okay, so let's go through this. Oh no, this one connects to the board with API through Wi-Fi, and you connect to the app with the API. Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna add this to I'm gonna take a look at it. Let me just. I'll take a look when I finish up the stream. Yeah, open it on the tab, ready to go. Okay, so what we're looking at here is, can we zoom in? Oh, kind of. Does this affect the settings? Yes, it does. Okay, this is great. So now everyone can see what's going on. Okay, cool. So here, put your setup code here to run once. Yeah, so anything in setup is run once, as the comments explain. And then the loop is run repeatedly. So this could be, it depends on how fast the board is, right? So if you got this, like I said, if you got a really powerful board that's running really, really quickly, this code will run much faster. And there's some things you can do, like if you want something to run every single second, there's stuff you can do to make that happen. So so we've got a delay here. We were doing a print right to the console. Hello from Firebeetle ESP32 board. So what we're going to do is run this on our device, and we're going to hook up, connect to the console, and see if it comes out. Right. So we're going to try this. No promises it's going to work. See how we go. So we can verify our code, which compiles it. This is pretty much like the build in Xcode, or I think it's Command B in Xcode for the shortcut for that. And it tells you how much storage space it uses, because that's super important on these boards, because a lot of the time they come with almost none. And if you're trying to do some complex stuff on there, like you want to install like 50 libraries, you're probably not going to be able to do that. The programs you write for these need to be fairly simple, you know, maybe a couple of files of code. Global variables use 6% dynamic memory, so it tells you how much you've got left. Excellent. So what we can do is try and upload this now. There is a trick to some of these boards. I think the IDE for some of them can trigger the write mode, and in some cases that can't be done. So some of these boards will have like two buttons. This one's only got one, so I'm assuming that we can write directly to it. But what you'll need to do sometimes is hold down one, press the other one and release, and then let go, and then it will put it in like a write mode so that you can, you know, it will connect to the IDE, and you can send, you know, write your firmware to it. It's kind of like it's a bit of like a, I guess, I to me it's more of like a safety thing, so you can't just plug things in and start overriding them. But there is a pin. There are some pins on here, like hardware pins, that when you press these buttons, you pull. I think you pull them low, and then it puts into this particular mode. But anyway, so let's go with trying to. We'll hit play, and with the debugger, server output for more details. Okay, let's see if we can just do an upload then. Compiling. Done compiling. Uploading. Okay, we've got an issue here. Unhandled exception. Oh, it's going to be a great day. Sorry, just reading messages. Hang on. This one connects the board with the API through Wi-Fi, and you connect the app. So the one you have is better. I'm not sure. I haven't had a look at. Hang on. All right, let's just have a quick look at this blink thing here. It's got hardware. Okay, smartphone. Yep, internet connection. Let's just have a look at this. This will be for everyone. Okay, register an account, install the library. Hardware, Blink, Cloud, and your app project. Get your hardware online and connect it. So can you write code for it and update the code over Wi-Fi from your phone, maybe? Because that's kind of cool. Interesting. No, the one I'm talking about is it's just like an app that just scans Bluetooth. It's just a small tool. That's all it does. And we can take a look at those. There's various ones. There's a few free ones. There's a few paid ones. We can look at that when we get to it. We got to work out what's going on here. So I think this is correct. I've got this set up right. We can try another board. I've got another one here. Let's try another board. What we got? Again. Yeah, they're all kind of a little bit different, right? So you might find that like some of them are just plug in, and then you can press, you press the send button and it will just work. Sometimes it will not. And there's some other stuff you need to do. Fail to execute script. Let's just look up this. I remember seeing this a lot last year when I was working with these. Yeah, okay, it looks like we need to put it into a bootloader mode. So I'm not sure how to do it with a single button. So I'm just going to look that up now. So if I go Firebeetle bootloader mode. Yeah, the flash, it says here, so I'll bring this across. This is what I thought with these Firebeetles. So the flash button is virtual and controlled by the RTS signal from the computer through the USB port. So it should automatically enter bootloader mode when you go to program it. There should be nothing else you need to do. So I'm wondering if I've done something to these boards. Don't have the right drivers installed, but we do. If we can see, we've got Firebeetle up here. I do have another board we can try. And this one I know we have to put into a bootloader mode. So let's grab that. And we need to change the board. So we've got, or we might have to use this other one. See that DF Robot Firebeetle 2? That might be the one we're supposed to use. So let's try that again real quick first, and then I'll switch over to another board if it doesn't work. Let's try this. Compiling. Got to compile every time. Come on. Uploading. This chip is ESP32, not ESP32S3. Wrong chip. Okay, cool. So it's smart enough to know at least what we've done wrong here. You can see, well, you're not going to be able to see this, but on this section, on this shield, it'll tell you what it is. So this one is ESP32, 32D. So that's the wrong chip for that. So I'm going to try and move over to this other one, which is just a generic one I got off AliExpress, but it does have these two buttons, so you can set it up into bootloader mode, which is the mode that lets you install it. So if we have a look here and we just look up, let's just go with let's just have a search through here. What's a generic one we can use? One of these, I think. ESP32 dev module. Let's try that. I think I've used this one before in the past. Now to put this into boot mode, I think this is correct. So you got to hold one down, press the other one for like, you know, a second, and then release the one you're holding down. We can try it this way. I might have to switch it the other way around. Connecting. Well, something else is happening. Oh, here we go. This is it. It's working. There you go. So I'm guessing the software I've got for this is probably not the correct one. For the Firebeetle, sorry. It will look the same to you from this distance, but yeah. So this is a generic one I got from AliExpress. Yeah. And that's it. So we could go through this log real quick. So it's saying, yeah, great. Yeah, we got it working. Configuring flash size. Flash will be erased from these positions in map. Yep. So we've got compressed hash of data verify. That's just making sure that it's all correct. And then we've written, what is it? Writing. Yep. 100%. Hash of data verified again. Compressed. Yep. So yeah. So this is it. So this is the bit that you sort of like look at, this whole section here. And you would sit there patiently. I remember last year I was going through this. I was just like, come on. Every single like sort of percentage that it pops up, you're just waiting for it to fail basically. But this is all good. This is working fine. So what we need to do is connect to it. And gosh, let me try and remember how you're supposed to do this. Because what you want to do is you want to listen to the output of this board, right? Because what we're doing here, we're doing a print. So we want to be able to see that in the console. And we can see before we've got, what is it? The baud rate is set to 921600. And this matters because sometimes when you do a connection, you'll get jumbled information back. if you haven't got this set correctly. So we've got, just check. I don't think it'll work if we, let me unplug and plug back in. Yeah, we really, really want to get some output on this, don't we? Let me see. Do we have to do different configurations? This is getting more complex than it should. No, I don't think so. Oh, we're going off track here. Let's get rid of that. All right, hang on. Give me 1 second. Unplug, plug back in again. Open serial monitor. Right, so there's a serial monitor somewhere. Where is that? Here we go. It's in the wrong place. And we need to set this baud rate to what we had before. So you can see before we see here, we do have an output, which is awesome. So it's sort of working now, right? It's junk that's sort of coming through. So you can see that the timing is correct, right? So we've got every 2 seconds, we've got some information coming through. This is updating. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, but it's all jumbled because we've got the wrong baud rate. So we need to find, which one was it again? If we go back to our output, it was 921600. So if we change this to 921600, we might need to unplug and plug it back in again and see what we get. Okay. Come on, give us something. This doesn't seem right, does it? Like it's not working for us. How do we clear this thing? All right, so let's go. Let's try a different one. A fairly common one is this, which is the correct one. Hello from Firebeetle. Now we know it's not a Firebeetle. We just wrote that. That's the code that we wrote in there, right? So this is it's not a Firebeetle, but we wrote the code in there to say that it is. So all it's doing now is printing out this text every 2 seconds. So if we come back over here to the left, we have, yeah. So it's a bit difficult for you to see because it's all the same now, right? So what we could do is just close that off. I think if we reopen it, it should have refreshes. Here we go. So hello from Firebeetle, hello from Firebeetle. So we got something working. Excellent. And that took all of, where are we at? 40 minutes. And that was with mistakes along the way. So let's just recap briefly. So what we need to do, I like the winner look. Good, you found it. Yes. So to recap on this, you got to download yourself the Arduino IDE. Go pick up a dev board from somewhere like AliExpress, eBay, Amazon. Let's actually do that real quick. We're not going to recap just yet. So let's have a quick look. And we'll see prices, right? Amazon's good. Okay, so these here you get, it looks like you get 3 for These are Australian prices, okay? So they're about 30% more expensive than what you would get in US dollars. So yeah, on Amazon, it's going to be a little bit more pricier because it's Amazon, right? The people who sell these are reselling them on to you and they would have purchased them from somewhere like Alibaba or whatever. So here we've got, looks like, do you get 4 for $23? What do we got here? 4 pieces, yeah. 4 ESP32s for like $20, and I think in US dollars this would be like 15 or 12 bucks or something like that. So you get 4 of them to play around with, and it's okay if you blow up one of them because you've got 3 other spares, right? So these are really, really cheap devices, and you can hook up. This one here, you cannot. This is actually the exact same one that I've got, funny enough. This one has USB power only, but it doesn't let you hook up a battery. So if you wanted to go ahead and like connect a battery, you probably need like a battery pack, like the kind of one that has like the USB out on it so that you can charge up your phone. Then you can bundle it with one of these, and then you've got like a portable device that works off it's Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capable. The big benefit of having the Fire Beetle though is because let's switch to the big let me find here. You can see these 2, come on, focus. These 2 pins at the top, that's a spot for you to hook up a battery. You can solder a battery onto it, and there used to be a connector here which I removed because it was pretty chunky. I wanted it a bit more low profile, where you can plug a battery in. Like a lot of the batteries you get will have like a connector on them. You can just plug it straight in. And that means when you plug this into USB, it'll charge that battery. So that's if you can get like something like that has the battery stuff on it, they're the better ones to get. But those things are like $20 on their own, right? So let's plug this back in, and we'll do a little recap, right? So what we needed to do was get a board for starters, a dev board. We need to download Arduino IDE. We needed to go into settings, and we had to add our board manager URLs, right? So this tells the IDE where to find the information it needs so it knows how to install and talk to the boards, right? So these URLs seem to work fine for just about any ESP32, except for the 5. There must be another profile I didn't select for this that I didn't see in the list, but we noticed that it worked for this, and it'll probably work for a whole bunch of other ESP32s. And if you go up to the boards up here, you can see that we've got a big list. So even like some of the more popular brands have ESP32s as well. So we've got SparkFun in here as well. Adafruit has a couple. There's a bunch. Like, so you can go to any of these manufacturers, buy one of their boards, and start tinkering. The other thing we needed to do was write some code. We needed to put the device into bootloader mode. Not all of them need to be done like that, but if you have a device with 2 buttons like this one, good chance that that's what you need to do, which is you hold down one, you press the other one briefly, and then you let go, and then that puts it into boot mode. And then you can do the upload. If it doesn't work first time, just keep trying it. It'll eventually go through. And then when we want to listen to the output, we have to go tools, and then we go, where is it? The serial monitor. Serial plotter, I think, does a graph. So you can, if you're outputting like values of some sort, like numbers and things, you can plot them. And this is really great if you've got like a motion sensor on there, or you're doing like humidity sensors or air quality, or you got like a little weather station hooked up to it, like wind speed and stuff. That'll probably show up in this as an output, which is really, really cool. You can monitor it from the IDE. But that's pretty much it. That covers like the most basics of this. We got some, like I said, we got an output coming through here. What we need to do though is install a library for the Bluetooth stuff. And so let's go through how to install libraries today as well. Okay, so because we still got some time left, I don't want to end a stream at like 45 minutes, right? So we want to let's get some more value out of this, right? So we'll have a look at installing some libraries, and that is in the tools menu, right? So over here we went services, we went settings, sorry, and we set the board manager URLs, right? Now when we want to work with libraries, we want to do something, we want to make the device do something. We come up to tools and we go manage libraries. And there is a lot, like you look at that little scroll bar there, right? We're just scrolling through. There are a lot of libraries. And I think if we just start typing ESP32, most of these are written by just people like us, right? So these aren't, not all of them are output by the manufacturer. Some of them are, but a lot of them are done by people like us, where we find maybe the manufacturer hasn't created a library for something, and then someone's gone out and do it, just like, you know, regular GitHub stuff, right? Open source code. And so here's one, ESP32 Arduino OTA. So that's over the air. So this is really cool. This allows you to update your firmware without plugging it into a computer, right? So what you could do essentially is install this library onto your device, and then on your app, if a new update for your device comes out, like you want to write firmware for this, but you want to distribute it to all your users, they've already got the device, they can't plug it into their computer to update it. They can update it from their app. You can do an over-the-air update using this functionality. You could have, if you've got Wi-Fi, you know, you've got the device connected to that Wi-Fi network, it could search the internet and you know, connect to one of your servers and check for updates, and then download that information and then update itself. There's some really cool stuff we can do there. But what we're looking for today is probably we can do, I think BLE is a good search term actually over Bluetooth, where we got ESP32. Some other cool things that, while we're at it, that people have done with these is like, because we know we can hook up a camera. I've seen some projects where they've installed like AI and like face recognition on these little devices. So I'm thinking like you could create your own doorbell style system, so that like maybe when a friend shows up, it recognizes who it is, and then it would like talk over a loudspeaker in your room or something, saying, you know, your best friend is here or something at the door. Kind of cool. So we've got, where are we going? We've got, we might have to do a so just like how we set up the settings with this URL, I think you can also expand the libraries that you have available to you as well with a similar idea. Let me see. I might have to do a little Google here. You'll find that you'll do a lot of this working with embedded systems. So I'm searching for BLE library ESP32. I also highly encourage anyone watching this to look up and subscribe to channels who are dedicated to this sort of stuff, because this is not my main thing. Okay, so like if you want to know more about getting started with these, it's probably best, like for this part 2, is to go off and find someone else who actually has like a much better, well put together video on this, something that they've edited down so that it's nice and brief, not a live stream, and who is an expert on these devices. There's plenty of channels that are dedicated just to ESP32s. All right. And then, yeah, next video we're going to talk about Bluetooth, because it's a little bit of a complex subject in how it works. So we've got, I'm looking here at a tutorial, so I'll bring this out so we can see it. This is a tutorial I'm looking at here. This is the same board we're using. So let's take a look. So yeah, this goes through what Bluetooth is as well, how it works, characteristics. That's kind of like the thing that your Bluetooth device is going to be like it's kind of like the name of like the connection you're going to have, as well as the information that's going to be sent. So a device can have multiple characteristics. So we might have like two sensors hooked up to this, like a motion one, and that'll be like one characteristic. It'll just keep outputting X, Y, Z values. Another characteristic might be the temperature, right? And you can get, like I said before, you can download an app that can listen to this information coming from all the Bluetooth devices in your home, right? It can tell you the characteristic, which is like, it'll have a UUID attached to it. Some of them will have descriptors, and you can actually hit refresh and see the values changing and updating. So yeah, so this is, I think this is another good example of what I was talking about before. So this is a table showing, this could be, like, you could interpret this table as like the devices in their area and the information that they're getting from them. So you've got like a blood pressure device. And some of these IDs are set, like there's a lot, there's a whole thing behind Bluetooth, right? Because it's a standard, there's like particular UUIDs you can use that all device manufacturers recognize as being for this kind of thing. So like the thing being blood pressure. So if you have a blood pressure device, they'll all have the same UUID. So like the great benefit of this is if you're building an app for a device that is already in existence, like let's say you have a blood pressure monitor at home and they have their app and you're like, I don't like their app, I want to build my own for it. The connection, the way you can connect to it, looking up these UUIDs, these identifiers for the device, they should be standardized across all blood pressure devices. They should be. Again, obviously up to the manufacturer whether they want to go with that or not. They want to keep it sort of hidden, and so you can't sort of work out what it is. But for the most part, all these things are kind of uniform across the entire industry, right? So a fitness machine as well is another common one, I guess. You don't have to use these in yours. You can set the UUID on your characteristics for your device. So like if you've got like a motion sensor, you can just create a random UUID. It doesn't really matter. Or you can go to the website that has all this information. I think assigned numbers. Yeah, here we go. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And you can come into this list and you can pick a number from this list. Oh gosh, I don't think we're going to go through this, but there's a lot of, see, like this. That's the number for a coffee maker, right? If you wanted to make a smart coffee maker, you could. Number for a washing machine. You use these values, or you don't have to, but it makes it easier if it's like standardized. Anyway, that's probably too confusing, so let's move on. So let's go to, yeah, so this is what the UUID looks like. And they're given these names on top of that. So let's keep going. We've got, let's keep going. So yeah, you set up a Bluetooth server. We need to include these. So let's see if we've actually got these available to us already. So I'm just going to grab those and throw them into the file. I don't think we do. It might come built in once we go with the board stuff. So let's just see. We go with this. Put it into the bootloader mode. The document is very updated. Is it? Oh no, I've closed it. Oh wow, you're right. Yeah, amazing. I kind of enjoy looking. It's kind of boring, but I like looking through this list of all the kind of manufacturers and stuff, and then you like do a little bit of a Google and see what they actually do, or what their main thing is. There's so many in here. Yeah, it's crazy. Do you know what's funny too? This is something that I think about a lot. Like you'll hear about a company, it's like, oh, they did like $500 million in the last quarter, and you're like, I've never heard of that company in my life. And enough people have in order for them to make that much money. It's just crazy. But there's so many in here. But yeah, they get their own. I think they also get their own ideas as well. which is a separate thing to the characteristics, I believe. So these aren't, obviously these are attached to the names of the companies, not what their device does, right? It doesn't have like blood pressure or something here. So this is like their own unique ID, it seems. So many in there. Okay, let's get rid of this. So we got this set up. I did another installation. How do I remove this? Yeah, that's good. It seems to have worked. So it looks like we already have these Bluetooth libraries installed. So that was quick. That was easy. Ooh, do we keep going just a little bit? We're getting into uncharted territory here. So this is the part of the stream where like things fail and then I have to try and like end on a high when that happens. So, and then the stream ends up being like an extra hour long because I'm stuck debugging things. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the App Store. I'm going to download a Bluetooth inspector. So it's this one here. Let's open that up. Okay, so the plan is get Bluetooth running on this, and then we'll have a scan and see if we can find it, right? If we have a look through, if we could just go start scanning here, we can see all the Bluetooth devices around me. I got some of these Nano Leafs. Okay, MacBook Air, iPads. There's a whole bunch of unknowns, so who knows what they are. Phone, Apple TV. Cool, so it's found them all. So what we can do is we can go like, let's go to, I think the Nanoleaf might have something interesting. So we click on that, we go interrogate. It is going to do try and do a connection to it. Let's see what we get. No, so we've got, okay, so here we go. This is what I was talking about before. So see these numbers? These are all the characteristics we were talking about. And each of these has something we can do with it, right? So like if I go connect to one of these, the data could be in any different sort of format as well. We just click on one, we go connect, and we'll just see what we see. It's hard to know, right? Because this is just a number. No value available, so that's kind of useless. What we're going to do with our device though is we're going to have it so that when we do a connect, maybe it'll print out, like it'll give us an output of some sort every second, right? So we'll connect and then we'll just read the value for what it is. Let's see if we can do that today. I'm not going to promise you anything because I do have work to get to at some point. It looks like this app also lets you attribute content to the Bluetooth inspector by emailing. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you know what this is supposed to be, you can tell the person who makes the app what these values are. And then when you click on one of these, it'll be bundled in the app and it'll just tell you what it is, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's go. So we got our little Bluetooth inspector here. Let's just drop that over there. I'll hit pause so it stops doing its thing. Let's set up. Let's find our ESP32 BLE tutorial. Same one from before, which actually I can close that because we just found it. Okay, cool. So you can see here we've got we define our characteristics again. So let's just copy a lot of this code across. You do need to set up the Bluetooth. Oh, guys, you know what? I just realized this is the value that you set. So this is what when we're looking at the serial monitor before, and I was messing around with this rate. I was like, oh, which one is it? Because it's coming through. So there's two different ones, right? So the output when you do the installation. Where is it? So I think the higher the number that is here, the faster the upload's going to be. But this number doesn't necessarily mean the number that you'll get on your serial monitor, which is what I made the stupid assumption of. Excuse me. The number is what value you set here. So I could have just looked at the code that we copied and pasted and then just gone down to and then selected it here so we can read the output correctly. Anyway, doesn't matter. So we've got, yeah, so we set this up. Let's do a little print after like this one. We won't do a delay. Sometimes it's good to have a delay during setup because some things won't be ready in time to run. So you sometimes you want to have a bit of a delay so that the board has the rest of the time for setting up everything else. And then what we'll do is we got a device name, which is excellent. So what we can do is we could run this now, right? So let's just set up a device name. Let's grab all this. And we should see this name show up in our Bluetooth Inspector app, right? So the app that I showed you before. So we grab this. I'll drop this all in here. So we'll go through. So this sets up the name of our Bluetooth device. So let's just call it ESP32 Bluetooth device. And we create a server, right? So this is going to be a server because it's going to be sending stuff. There's so when it comes to like Bluetooth devices, there's always going to be one's going to be a server and then one's going to be like the host, I think. We'll go through that in the next video anyway. But yeah, there's one that sort of like listens and then ones that sort of transmits, right? And you can get the situation where, so they're called peripherals, right? So the way iOS thinks about Bluetooth devices are like they're peripherals, and we'll go through that. You'll see in the in Xcode when we start writing code for this, they're called like the API mentions them as peripherals, and then we also have things like characteristics we need to listen for. So you do a connection, and then you have to like keep a reference to your peripherals so that you can continue talking to them and receiving information from them. But yeah, like in the old day, it's hard. So the way we talk about it now is different to how we used to talk about hardware talking to each other. So like in the past, you'd have like master and slave, but obviously we don't use those terms anymore. But that's the kind of situation we have set up with Bluetooth. So there's always like the master device, and then you have one that's sort of like a peripheral, is just off to the side. It's something you're just gathering information from. So here we go. Characteristic UUID, which is what we have defined up here. Okay, so this UUID can be anything really. Generally, you should try and stick to what the conventions are, like on that document that I showed you before. So if you're building a coffee maker, you want to put the coffee maker ID here. Like I said, you don't have to. Property read, property write. This allows this. What this does is it tells the connecting device whether it can send data to this characteristic. Think of the characteristic like an address, in a sense, right? Or like a variable or a property. So that might be an easy way of thinking about it. So this defines whether you can read and write to that property. Sometimes you might only want to be able to read from it. Like you don't want to be able to send information to your smart scales. You just want to read your weight from the scales. Writing information to it is a bit weird. Property read write, depending on the characteristic, right? So like if your characteristic for your smart scales is the weight that was just measured, the last measured weight, you would probably just have it set to read. But if the characteristic was for a software update, like you wanted to do an over-the-air update, you would have a write and possibly not read. Okay, so this is, I guess this is from the person who wrote the tutorial. And then you got to so you got to advertise. You got to tell the device that once this characteristics and everything is set up, it can advertise. It starts transmitting, right? It starts sending information. So that's what the advertising is all about. You set up a service. Now, a service can contain multiple characteristics. It's like a way to package your characteristics together. So, for example, what have we got? What's a good example for this? So you might have a device that has multiple functions. You might have a service set up. So yeah, example from what we had before, right? So the service One of the services might be for over-the-air updates, and you might have multiple characteristics for that. Maybe you have the one where it sends the information to the device as far as like the payload that the device needs to update with, or it might be sending version information like, hey, the hardware is out of date. You can package all those characteristics under one service, like the OTA service. For this one, you might have like a motion control device. All the information for that will be on another service, and so on. And then down here, it looks like if we have goes through how all the code works. This is awesome. So this is the value we're setting to the characteristic. This is the one that we're going to read through our Bluetooth scanning app, right? So let's have a look at this. We've got hello Bluetooth scanner. Let's see if this works, right? Characteristics. Find now you can read it on your phone. Okay, well, almost. Let's do an upload for this. Then we'll grab our other software here. Done compiling. Come on, connecting. It's a little bit slower now because we're using the Bluetooth libraries. It's got to install all that stuff. Okay, so this is it. So what I'll do is I'll unplug, right? Because it's still in bootloader mode. If I hit this button, it'll do another upload. What we want to do is take it out of bootloader mode, plug it back in. Serial monitor. Hello from Firebeetle ESP32 board. Hello from Fire. Okay, so what do we got? Have we still... Oh yeah, so okay, we're still printing this out in the loop. Okay, so it's great. We know it's working. If we open our Bluetooth inspector, now I think what we need to do is do another scan. Come on, hopefully it shows up. We got to look for ESP32 here somewhere. It should show up. Come on. Come on. Oh, it's down here. Check that out. Amazing, right? Okay. So we got our characteristic that we created. So we click on, oh come on, interrogate first, I guess. Oh no, it's jumped to a different device. Let's click this one, interrogate. Now we're connected. So the Mac is connected to it. We got one characteristic. We click on this. Hello Bluetooth scanner. So it tells you there. So there it is. That's the text that we set up here. Hello Bluetooth scanner. I wish I could zoom in this a little bit more so you can see it, but we'll go a little bit slow. Hopefully the view sort of clears up a bit. Hello Bluetooth scanner. So that's the text that we've set. And that's just outputting that. Right? So if you build an app and I guess if you build an app that reads from this particular characteristic, that's what you'll see. That's the information you'll get back. Now you can imagine like how this will work now as far as connecting an iPhone and stuff, right? So if we can make this happen, hello Bluetooth scanner, there's nothing stopping us from continuously updating this output, right? So all we're doing here, we've got this set value, P characteristic set value. But if we were to get rid of this, let's just do this as an experiment, right? And we want to do a delay. And maybe we do like a count, right? So maybe we do a count. We'll keep this one here too, so we can get the serial output for it. And what I want to do is I want to give it a changing value so we can have a look at that. Let's go with I don't know. Let's call it count. We start at 0. And then in the loop, every 2 seconds, we will go count plus equals 1. And then we'll set this value to the count. Let's see if this works. I'm not entirely sure if it will. I've pressed the buttons to put this back into the bootloader mode. Let's do an upload. What have I done wrong here? Oh, okay. So what I need to do is oh yeah, I haven't got access to this, right? So I think I can just put this here and it'll get the one that's already there, maybe. Let's see how we go. Like I said earlier, it's been quite a while, and I'm trying to get through this quick, so there's going to be a lot of mistakes. What do we got wrong? Characteristic was not... Oh, P advertising, I did the wrong one. Okay. So... probably need to... hang on a second. Just me Googling again. That's what it's called, central. So when I was talking about the different connections before, you got server, you got, I think it's a central Bluetooth device, and peripherals. Yeah, central and peripherals or something. I think that's the terminology. So I think what we can do is move this out. Just checking out some other code here, one sec. Because I want to get this working before we leave. Another thing I can do is try and open up one of these older projects I've got, because it's got heaps of stuff in there. That might be the way to go, actually. Yeah. I'm just a little bit rusty on the syntax here, that's all. And what I'm trying to do is move this out of the setup so that I can access it within the loop. Here we go. I think I found something. Nope. Yeah, this is way too much code for me to drop in. Okay. All right. Wow, it actually very smooth. Oh, what do you mean by that? What if I search for Arduino IDE update BLE characteristic value? Oh, are you talking about this app? Oh, that's right. So you can set, so the way, I think the way this works is, so you set the initial value. Let's undo this so we go back. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a few different ones. I think this is the one I've used most. It is a little bit confusing to look at though. Like, you kind of need to understand a little bit more about how the Bluetooth system works in order to understand how the app works. But yeah, you can see like this is still here, still running. The cool thing is like, it's kind of interesting. Like there's so many devices. There's even like TV, like everything has Bluetooth in it at the moment. Well, this is everything that's just picked up around me in the last couple of minutes. I don't even own this many devices, so I'm sure it's like the neighbors and stuff, right? So you can just select one. Oh, these ones are unconnectable now. So you select one, you go interrogate, and then you can just discover like what's on it, right? If it works. Some of them don't even let you connect to them. I think this one's my car. I think this S7, I think that's my car. Because sometimes what happens is like if I get in a phone call, I'm in... What is this? Yeah, if I get a phone call in my car, like on my phone, not in the car itself, I can't hear anything because the car's like intercepted the call and stuff, and then it shows up that my phone is streaming all the information to that value. Where is it? This one here, S7. Oh, it keeps jumping all over the place. It's a little bit annoying. Oh, it's not giving me really much here. There's nothing. What is this? 2. We read we read a 2 out of there. Something's coming through. Whoa. Okay, it looks like I need to spend some money to inspect these values. That's okay. Maybe I will do that at some point for the next video. I feel like we're kind of wasting a bit of time here. It's not going to be this like concise video series where it's like people are going to be able to sit down and like watch them. It's just going to be me rambling most of the time. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to... I might have to do a little bit more research just so that I don't waste any more time for anyone watching this. I might have to go back and then just check how I'm going to get this working as far as like updating these values. But I feel like that's more of a part 3 video anyway, because what we're going to be doing is writing a bit more code for the Bluetooth side and then writing some code for iOS as well, so we can connect and listen to the values updating. I feel like it makes more sense to bundle all that into the other video. So what I can do now, I think I think the best thing for me to do to help everyone else out is to grab this this guide that we were following. This is the Bluetooth scanner. This is cool. So this is kind of works how this app does, right? You can make this, you can turn this into a scanner instead of a transmitter. Yeah, so you got a scanner and a server. It's kind of cool. Let's testing with your smartphone. So this is another one of those apps at the start of the stream I was talking about, where you can download an app that's similar to this, and then it can talk to your Bluetooth devices. I think you can also send stuff to them. You can send like packets and stuff. Wrapping up. Yeah, so what we want to do, we want it to be in the loop. We want to be able to continuously update these values here. And that's not something I can do with my knowledge at this point. And let's maybe we so what I do know is that when you can set the value, and this will be like the starting value, and then later on you need to do another function called notify, which is kind of like a notification. And then I think what happens is your phone will get, your phone will get like kind of like a notification, like a Bluetooth one, and it'll be like, hey, there's more information from the device now, and then you can grab that and you can present it to the user. But I think for this stream, that's probably it. What I'm going to do is I will link to this guide that I used in our in the description. I'll throw it in chat as well while we're here. Why not? So this is when I'm going off. So just to recap on everything that we did again. So we've set up our board, right? And I showed you on Amazon the kind of boards. Let me get a link for that too. Yeah, is that a good idea? I can throw that in there too. So in case you just want to jump straight to there and buy that. Actually, you know what, even better? AliExpress, right? Now, I'm not saying that this person that we're buying from, this is just an example. I don't know if this person is reputable or not. I'm just saying here's an example. Can we send that to chat? It's not letting me do it. It won't let me post it because there's too many characters in the URL. Let me try. Is there a share button? It's this one here. You can see here, you can pick these up for like, that's Australian dollars, right? That's $1. Oh, yeah, $1 for a whole microcontroller board thing. Like it's pretty good, pretty good price. And then you can also get this little module as well, which is the thing that sits on top, that top section. You can't really do anything with it because you'll have to hook up your own power. This will be good if you want to solder on your own pins and put it into a breadboard. But then you have to do everything yourself. You have to activate the bootloader mode with you have to set up your own buttons on your breadboard and all that sort of stuff. So that's not great for beginners. But if you eventually want to have something that's really, really tiny and then put it somewhere, that's a good option. So it looks like this seller has a whole bunch of cool boards you can use. They might even have one that has like maybe a battery sort of setup. So here's another one. This is the one with the camera module on it. So you can use this to take time-lapse photography, I suppose. Hook up a really big battery, put this outside somewhere and capture the seasons and then look at them on your phone. Pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, like I said, you can get these really, really cheap. You can get as cheap as $1, which is just, that's crazy to me. And I think they even might have like, this is the welcome deal, isn't it? Oh, I might be seeing this incorrectly. $12. Okay, let's see if we can find them any more. Here's another one we can take a look at. You can get 10 for $30. And that's another welcome deal. That's the actual price. So yeah, I don't know. You got options. You got options. So anyway, we got our board set up. The other thing is we worked out how we can install some software on there, which took us all of what, half an hour really, from the start of the stream to the point where we had stuff running on this was about 30 minutes. And that was me going, like, forgetting how to do it and relearning how to do it. So it's really, really simple. Like I said, the barrier to entry to these things is much lower than iOS development, in my opinion. Like, you just, all you need is one of these. Like iOS development, you need a phone, right? And that's already like getting to almost $2,000 now. So you can get away with like one of these for a couple of bucks, and then you can start developing for it. And then of course you can see that you connect it to the IDE, which is the same way you connect your phone to Xcode. And there's a button that you press, and that uploads the code to it, just like Xcode. So it's like the process is so much the same. It's just new programming languages and syntax you got to get used to. But that's pretty much it. I think for this, I think we're done for today. And then what we'll do is we'll pick up again sometime this week. I would love to say tomorrow, but that really depends on how work goes. Things are gonna be pretty hectic for me for the next couple of months. I think was it two or 3 months until I can get this client work done. But then after that, I'll be back onto almost streaming every day, and we'll go back to, maybe we'll have a bit of a break from the Bluetooth stuff, and we'll go back onto doing some dribble designs, just recreating stuff in SwiftUI. I find that people seem to like that stuff a lot more than possibly the hardware thing. It's a little bit more niche, this kind of content. So, but yeah, that's me. That's all we got for today. And hopefully I'll see you all again sometime this week, and I'll try and get better at notifying everyone what's going on. I've slowed down a lot on Twitter at the moment because I found that just going on Twitter is not very enjoyable situation. When is the next live stream? Yeah, I'm going to try again sometime this week. It'll be same time. I will put out like a notification. I'll do it on YouTube the day before. So what I'll do is I'll do one of those text messages, one of those posts that you can do on YouTube, and I'll say, hey, I'm streaming tomorrow morning or something like that. I was supposed to stream this yesterday, but I had internet issues. I will try and come back tomorrow morning. I'll try and do it again same time tomorrow. But we'll see how we go with that, and we'll continue on with this, and we'll get we'll try and get an app built that can listen to these devices. And then after that stream, the third part, all right, we'll probably continue the series as time goes on, but after the third one, it'll be like a bookend, right? It will kind of be like anyone who watches these 3 videos will be able to do these projects from start to finish. And then what we'll do is we'll add new features and things like that as time goes on. I was going to say something else, but I have completely forgot what it was. Nope, it's gone. It's completely gone. That's okay. So yeah, I'm going to try to come in tomorrow. If not, it'll be the next day. But we'll see how we go. That's it. So I also wanted to mention that the thing with Twitter is that I found there's been like tons more ads like after every single post. So I'm kind of off that now. I'm going, probably my presence will be much more on Mastodon. And of course I'll be posting more on YouTube in the text, the community tab, I think it is. But I'll let everyone know before. I'll set up a schedule on YouTube as well for when my next stream will come out. I'll try and do that the night before, so that way if you're online, you can just go to my YouTube channel and say, hey, he's got a live stream tomorrow morning, it seems. And then that'll be your notification. Anyway, see ya. Thank you.